So, hi, I haven't done a cooking video for a while, so I thought I would do one today. And so I don't know how you feel about the keto diet. And I'm not like advocating keto or anything like that. It's totally up to you and you got to talk to your doctor. But one thing that I did find about the keto diet is that I love the recipes. So I'm not really doing what I would say real rigid keto diet, but I'm definitely using their recipes and I'm staying away from sugar. And I have lost a little bit of weight and I do feel pretty good. So never hurts to stay away from sugar, at least for a while. So anyway, here is a recipe called the Keto Greek Egg Scramble. So I already pre-mixed our things to make it easier. So one of the things that with the keto diet or with these particular recipes, which I did get off of a website online. And so they like put together all the recipes for you can pay for like a whole month and they give you your whole menu for every single day and they give you a grocery list. It's really cool. But anyway, so you need to have one of these because a lot of the things on this recipe is measurements, like an ounce of this or 2 ounces of this or 3 ounces of that. And sometimes you literally just have to weigh things. So I have my scale, and then another really nifty little thing, which I didn't even know existed, is these little measuring spoons. And at first I thought this was a joke, but it works really well. And if you can see, this says a dash. And then, I don't know if you can see that on there or not, but there's one that says a dash. And this one says a smidge. And then you have a pinch. Well, these particular recipes, they have a lot of ingredients that will say a pinch. And it works. I mean, I've been using it and it works. And then, of course, you can always modify ingredients to your own taste. So one thing you have to have is olive oil. So I've got the olive oil pre-measured and it's going in the pan. I've got the pan. I already started heating the pan up on like medium so that it's nice and warm, but it won't like burn everything. And then I'm just gonna swish the olive oil around. So the olive oil's in there. And then they tell you to dice the red bell pepper, which I already did. I already diced up the red bell pepper. And again, you can modify things. It calls for a whole red bell pepper, but I didn't do a whole one. I did like a quarter of one because that's just to my taste. And then it says to have, let's see, an ounce of feta cheese. So here's my feta cheese. I already have it already crumbled up, or you can cut it. And then it says to have 2 eggs. I have my 2 eggs right here, and I've already started scrambling them up because I read ahead in the recipe. And then you're supposed to have a pinch of salt. I have my salt right here. And you have to have, this recipe calls for 2 basil leaves, but I've been cooking for like 48 years, so wow, that really dated me, huh? But anyway, so I kind of know how much basil I want, and basil happens to be one of the staple herbs that I use a lot. And then also it says 2 ounces of spinach, so I have my 2 ounces of spinach, and I did use the scale to measure this out. So that's 2 ounces of spinach, and take that off because it's getting a little bit too hot. Just gonna remove the pan. And then it says to do a pinch of black pepper. I have my black pepper measured out and the red bell pepper. So here we go. So we diced the red peppers. We're gonna take the red bell pepper, the spinach, the basil, and the feta cheese, and we're gonna put it together. So we've got our red bell pepper right in there. So we got that in there. And then we're gonna put in the spinach. So we're just adding the spinach to the bowl. And then we're gonna put in the basil. So we're just sprinkling the basil right on there. And the feta cheese. We're just gonna add the feta cheese, right? Just like that. So, and then you can also put feta cheese at the end too. So I am just going to kind of like mix that up because it's going to be poured in, all together at the same time. And then it says to heat the olive oil, which we did, in a skillet over medium heat. And I did that, and I've got it kind of warm, so I'm not going to put it back on yet. And then we are going to pour in the egg mixture. So the egg mixture, we were supposed to put in, here's the eggs, then we are going to add the salt, and we're going to add the pepper. I'm putting in the pepper. And I think that's it. See? No. So then add the bell pepper. Oh, okay. So then we are going to, we can put the spinach in after we start cooking it. So we're going to go ahead and pour the egg mixture in the skillet. I'm going to put in the skillet in the olive oil and the skillet that's been heated. I'm going to put it back on the burner. And just grab a little spatula. And we don't want to cook it, overcook it, so I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, even though it said medium. And then we are going to add in all of the other mixture. So we're going to take this that we mixed together, and we're just going to add it right into our skillet. And we're going to cook this all together. So we're just stirring this up. If you've cooked spinach before, you know that it takes, a minute or so for it to cook down. It ends up being a lot less than what it looks like when you're measuring it out. So we're just mixing this up. Actually, I think it might have been even nicer if we had maybe added the spinach to the egg before we put it in the skillet, because then it would have been more coated, but this is okay too. And we're just cooking it. It doesn't take very long. We want to cook it until the eggs are done and the spinach is nice and tender and cooked. And also the red bell peppers. So, like I was saying, the keto diet, you don't necessarily have to be on a keto diet to use some of these recipes. These recipes are awesome. And I've been doing it for about 3 weeks. It's been kind of fun. I've always, most of the time I should say, eaten very healthy. But I was getting really bored with eating the same things all the time. So that's kind of what led me to looking for some different recipes and different diets. And that's how I came across this keto diet, or keto recipes, however you want to put it. So once you got everything all cooked up, and then I'm going to put it in this bowl. And I'll show it to you when it's all done, which is almost done. That's the other thing, is really these meals don't take very long. Even when you're adding chicken to them, you're usually cutting the chicken up in little pieces and, cooking it in the olive oil, or one of the recipes had you add some water. But because you're cutting the chicken up in little bite-sized pieces, usually chicken breasts, it doesn't take very long to cook it. So these are fast meals, they really are. And this is for one person, but if you're feeding more than one person, obviously you can double the recipe or triple it or whatever you need for how many people are eating. So let me make sure I haven't missed anything. So yes, and then you can also crumble some more feta cheese on top once you get it all done. And it looks like I've done everything. And it's pretty much done. So didn't take very long. Dinner is done. And you know what? I am going to, I should set this back here because it's hot. Turn off the burner, and I am going to crumble some extra feta cheese right on top because I like feta cheese, and feta cheese tastes really good with spinach and eggs. And all right, so let me get a fork over here and take a look at this. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? It's nice and colorful, and let me see. That was really good. See you later.